The birth of Disney has just begun, or should I say the rebirth. Kathleen Kennedy is reportedly about to step down from Disney, thus ending the woke era of Disney Lucasfilms. Like, a rebirth at Disney is currently taking place. Kathleen Kennedy, the main culprit of creating the wokeness in Lucas Star Wars, is reportedly stepping down. This is going to create a whole new renaissance that'll send ripples if they replace her with the right person. We do see mass media starting to shift right more than ever, as I've said many times before. I believe that media is shifting more conservative because they're leaning with the direction of the country. It isn't that they're conservative, they're just trying to increase the profit margins. And we have reasons to believe that and sources to prove that, but this is monumental for so many reasons. We're going to get into them now.
If you've heard this one before, but breaking news. Kathleen Kennedy is set to step down as president of Lucasfilm. I know, you've probably heard that one a time or two. You might have actually heard it from this channel, I don't know, 6 years ago. But here we are with it coming from a source, Puck News, right here. Other outlets are reporting on it. Screen Time, Culture Crave, who has me blocked. But here's the actual source of it. Matt
I get blocked a lot too.
I think that's how you say it, is reporting that Kathleen Kennedy is leaving Lucasfilm by the end of 2025. It's happening. After years of speculation and polite urging from observers like me, Kathleen Kennedy has informed Disney, as well as friends and associates, that she will exit as Lucasfilm president by the end of the year, per 3 sources. Disney and Kathleen Kennedy's personal publicist declined to comment. Not a huge shock. Of course, Kennedy will be 72 in June. She was, handpicked by George Lucas. He planned on leaving last year, I'm told, and had even set up an exit interview with a journalist.
Now, mind you, it's all over YouTube. You see people talking about Kathleen Kennedy because, without a doubt, she is possibly one of the most disliked people in media. And it's beyond just conservative and liberal. The woke thing has turned so many people towards the right, from video games and media, because they touch these platforms that we know and love. I love Star Wars. I've seen every Star Wars film, unfortunately, because some of them has ended up so bad, except like Rogue One, for the exception of that masterpiece. It's just so many mistakes for no reason, just for the sake of being woke. And they feel like propaganda pieces. They no longer even have the same messaging. They don't have the heart. They don't have the soul. And when you find out Kathleen Kennedy is the person that destroyed the entire Star Wars franchise single-handedly, it starts to make sense why people start to resonate with Donald Trump despite the mainstream media attacking him for so long, for so many years before. People just simply want to enjoy. You see, the thing about politics is, people like me that have a career in politics, commentator, whatever, journalist, they're going to know a little bit more than the public. That's my job, to try to help inform them. But you got normies that don't have time for this content, don't have time for me. They got time for mindless content because they're too busy, and that's okay. But when you start affecting that, you start telling NFL players they got to kneel, so you're messing up their enjoyment to watch the game. You start telling people they don't pledge to the flag in the NBA, so now you're messing up their enjoyment to watch the game. You're telling Star Wars to start adding very woke messaging, which is starting to mess up the movie. And then into that, you start adding woke, LGBT, just absolute dog shit, garbage on video games. Truly. It messes up the game. I'm swinging through Spider-Man, Miles Morales. First thing I see, Pride Street and a BLM flag on my goddamn guy. It's like, nigga, how the hell is BLM and Spider-Man if Spider-Man exists in New York? That nigga ain't doing his job right. It just destroys the immersion of video games for the sake of adding a woke message. So people that are normies have gotten involved, and everyone is celebrating over the demise of Kathleen Kennedy.
But she decided to stay for one more year. Isn't this interesting how all this is playing out? Now, me being the very nice and respectful person that I am, I responded here on Screen Time and said, thank you, President Donald Trump, because President Trump is making America great again, and one of the crucial steps to that is to make Star Wars great again. And that might be the toughest job he has, because Kathleen Kennedy has absolutely ruined Star Wars beyond belief. It's so far gone that it's even hard to process. But what's interesting here is right when all of this USAID money, this USAID money starts to get exposed, suddenly all of the wokeness starts to disappear. Remember when Sean Penn went to Ukraine to give an Oscar award to Zelensky?
And what's even crazier about that, the payments, the actual payments that USAID was showing, that media and actors, celebrities were getting paid from USAID. So it is very interesting that this onion is being unraveled and it's starting to hit the normies. Like I said, people are getting revelations because it's affecting people that don't typically care about politics. You see what happened to the kids in TikTok? A lot of them are now paying attention to politics thanks to that situation. It's just like if a celebrity or an influencer want to break off into different industries to expand their reach. So one thing that I Show Speed, a very popular streamer, does excellent is that he goes to different countries and he pretty much just tries out the foods or whatever it is of their culture and says he loves it. Everyone supports that, and it catapults him to a whole new audience. That's what's happening in politics. They're starting to reach the normies' pockets, starting to reach the normies' television, starting to reach the normies' radios and music. They're starting to be affected by politics because it's gone too far. And now they're getting involved. And guess what? Normies are seeing who's in charge of most of their terror, most of the misery, and it's not Republican, unfortunately.
Yeah, he didn't do it simply out of the generosity of his heart. Penn was reportedly paid $5 million by the USAID. Now, I don't know if he was actually paid that much money or not. There's a lot of different reports out there. As Bill Mitchell says right here, is it a coincidence now that the USAID funds have been cut off from media outlets that woke shows are suddenly being canceled? Wokeness is just disappearing everywhere you look, everywhere you go. And now suddenly, after years of destroying the most iconic franchise in history, after a decade plus of destroying the most iconic IP in history, suddenly the USAID money dries up and Kathleen Kennedy steps down. I don't think it's a coincidence at all. Not one bit. Yes, of course, she is 72 years old. Yes, this has been rumored for as long as I've been on the internet. But I don't believe in coincidences right now. All these woke shows are going away. All of these woke anchors are going away. Wokeness is being destroyed across the board. And suddenly Kathleen Kennedy is ready to make an official announcement that she's stepping away from Lucasfilm. Not a coincidence at all. And I don't believe anyone that says that it is. Now, again, this is not confirmed. This is all coming from this source right here, Puck News. I don't know who they are. I mean, hell, Geeks and Gamers has more followers than them, but they probably haven't been around for a long time. But, that's who the source is coming from right now. And I think that it's very much in line with everything else that we're seeing across the board, with a lot of the woke ideology just being destroyed. And people are sick and tired of this. We are in a cultural shift right now like we have never seen. And as I said, this didn't happen overnight. This happened because of many of you that have been watching mine and other people's videos. Many of you have been creating your own videos. Many of you have been checked out completely because Star Wars has been destroyed. It has been destroyed. And I don't know if and when it can come back. Just because Kathleen Kennedy leaves, Star Wars is not saved. It might be a meme to run with that, but her leaving means really nothing in the big scheme of things for the immediate moment. It really doesn't. It's going to take...
I don't agree with that, because we're seeing massive changes all the way from tech giants. Washington Post with Jeff Bezos, Meta with Mark Zuckerberg. I think he had it right in the beginning that wokeness is actually essentially dying. And like I said, it's just increased profit margins. It's not profitable to be woke. People are rejecting it. It's deemed uncool. It's deemed forced. And at this point, it's kind of deemed like government, too professional. We're entering edgy culture again. Things, they transition. And once it gets too edgy, guess what? It's time for moderation. It's just the evolution of humans, the evolution of entertainment.
Years and years and years to try and begin to pick up the pieces. And it's going to take more than just getting rid of Kathleen Kennedy in order to save Star Wars. So if this is in fact true, it will be awesome news. And it is the first step in many steps that it's going to take in order to repair the damage that has been done. And I think that it's going to take a minimum of 5 to 7 years to even start to begin the healing process for Star Wars. Probably looking at a decade before you're actually going to start feeling it, unless an...
I don't believe that, just because, like I said, they're not going to continue to lose money. Now, I always say that there are some industries that were doing things not to get paid. Like me and Pearl Davis say, how are these companies, these massive conglomerates, still making media when they're not getting paid? They're going woke, going broke. It's because of systems like USAID. But you got Doge now. The fact that it's got a system that's checking behind the scenes, seeing where the money is going. He said it right in the beginning. They have to start cutting these people off because they have to start making S that makes money. It's just that simple. If woke products aren't making money and they can no longer get paid for their propaganda, because let's say, okay, it don't matter if we're making money. We got systems like USAID that can pay us, and it makes us more. Now they got to get back to work and put out good content again. They can't force people to like trash, but they could have got paid to force trash on people. They can't do that no more now that we have Doge.
Elon Musk moment happens and they just go in there and wipe all wokeness out in one swoop. But I don't know if that's going to happen within the walls of Disney. You guys let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you very much for checking out this video, and we will talk to you later.
My tinfoil hat theory about Kathleen Kennedy is that she is purposely destroying Star Wars. She's purposely destroying Indiana Jones. Pretty much anything that Steven Spielberg or George Lucas had a hand in, she is trying to bring down. Because, as I have discovered over the course of the last few months, George Lucas and Steven Spielberg didn't actually seem to respect Kathleen Kennedy at all. Kathleen Kennedy was always coming up in these meetings with stupid ideas. They were just the worst.
And she was horrible at taking notes, and she was terrible at, she didn't really know how to do it very well. But what she did know how to do was interrupt somebody in mid-sentence. We'd be pitching ideas back and forth.
So, and already, as you can see, Spielberg didn't agree with her. So how does she get absolute power of that? Because what I say, my theory, is systems like USAID was paying her to force propaganda on the people and not get paid from propaganda. It wasn't about her talent. It was about her willingness to push propaganda over talent itself.
And Kathy, who's supposed to be writing these ideas down, suddenly put her pencil down and would say something like, and what if he didn't get the girl, but instead he got the dog?
Kind of was like, okay, over the course of the years, she had to have gotten a little bit on the angry side. And so I want to show you guys this real fast, because I think that, I mean, it just kind of goes to show you that there is some bad, bad blood.
There are three indispensable people without whom none of us would be here tonight.
You can see that she's in a good mood. She's got smiles and stuff. She's clapping, you know. She's doing all that stuff that makes it seem like she's having a good time there. And she, watch her face. She's got a little smug look.
Is the glue to all five of these
Wait for it.
That gave us all
she's smiling. She's looking around. She's ready to accept her acknowledgement.
John Williams.
And the smile just fades. She's not clapping anymore. There's 100% bad blood there. And I think that I think Kathleen Kennedy is 110% destroying everything on purpose.
Years ago, Bob Iger took us to the Disney.
You know it's bad when South Park has to go in on you and completely dominated on Kathleen Kennedy. It's still to date one of their best episodes, way better than the Lizzo. And it showed how Kathleen Kennedy is essentially destroying Star Wars and Disney as a whole. It has absolute power. You know, sometimes they've put some woke stuff, and they do laugh at everyone, but I would say they lean more left than anything. What did they know that most people didn't know? Did they foresee the downfall of Disney? Did they foresee the downfall of wokeness as a whole? Because South Park has been leaning right on a lot of things with the Lizzo and this. I feel like they got ear of what's to come. You know, the world's a stage. There's someone that might have the script. If you remember Isaac, well, I won't get Isaac happy.
Power one.
This is what Kathleen Kennedy did to Disney. I think this Acolyte, one of the Star Wars films. The power of one. And it's horrible because the lead star of the Acolyte, you'll just have to see after this, she's a handful. And these are the people that they put into positions of power because it's not about their acting skills, it's about their willingness to push propaganda.
The power of two, the power of many.
It's trash. So here you go. This is the star of the Acolyte. This was the main star of it. And it's some of the greatest cringe that you could ever see. This is a Disney star that was in a Star Wars film thanks to Kathleen Kennedy. And of course, it's just propaganda to try to make blacks mad about some shit that we can't control. Like, just listen. It's one of those BLM anthems for all those that passed.
City to city to speak on the story, you know the one. Always smelling like a black boy. Yeah, my people cried in the theaters, finding release. And white people cried they could see us as human beings. Trevor asked what I want the people to know. I said, white people crying, what's the goal?
She said white people crying was the goal. This woman's pushing straight up goddamn like white genocide type propaganda, and she was put in a position of a leading role for one of the biggest Disney flops all time. The Acolyte, look it up. It was a horrible Disney Star Wars movie.
What would it be? I say empathy. Oh, that's why they mad at me. They splice lines, make hate, they recognize, make it look like the same propaganda they spew. Cause they conflate our pain with violence and try to weaponize everything that we do. The desperation of oppressors is rising and now they...
If YouTube does indeed make me clip this video up, which they might, because she might have copyright strikes on this trash ad video so no one else can see it, I'm sorry if no one gets the chance to see this.
Holding on to any old thing they can use. If you rely upon misinformation, and that tells me you're afraid of the truth.
Well, just when you thought Star Wars couldn't get any more dead under Disney's guardianship, they found another box of nails to drive into an already buried coffin.
Come on, man. What are we talking about?
After announcing a new Rey movie, Disney subsequently let the world know that it would be helmed by feminist independent filmmaker Charmin Obaid-Chinoy, who once said back in 2015 that
I like to make men uncomfortable. I enjoy making men uncomfortable and recognize that I am working to bring something that makes you uncomfortable, and it should make you uncomfortable.
But why? If they're the majority of the audience for Star Wars.
Comfortable because you need to change your attitude.
And in a recent WTF moment in an interview with CNN, Charmin had this to add.
I think it's about time that we had a woman come forward to shape the story in a galaxy far, far away.
Oh, shut up.
Also the first woman and the first person of color to direct a Star Wars film. It's set to be released in 2026.
None of that matters.
You can say that the force is strong with this one. Here's Charmin Obaid-Chinoy.
This is the type of hogwash that they were pushing out here, man. They really were destroying Star Wars. I'm telling you, this is a good thing for the people. This whole Kathleen Kennedy resignation is the greatest thing for culture.
You know, I'm very thrilled about the project because I think what we are about to create is something very special. And we're in 2024 now. And I think it's about time that we had a woman come forward to shape the story in a galaxy far, far away.
Look, I've been voting for 64 years. Never really wanted to talk about it very much. But when dozens of...
And this is what Han Solo had to say. Like, somehow, when Kennedy got into this, she even turned beloved stars into woke hive mind zombies.
Former members of the Trump administration are sounding alarms, saying, for God's sake, don't do this again. You have to pay attention. They're telling us something important. These aren't soft people. They're governors, generals, standing up against the leader of the party they spent their lives advocating for. For many of them, this will be the first time they've ever voted for someone who doesn't have an R next to their name, because they know this really matters. The truth is this: Kamala Harris will protect your right to disagree with her about policies or ideas, and then, as we have done for centuries, we'll debate them, we'll work on them together, and we'll move forward. The other guy, he demands unquestioning loyalty, says he wants revenge. I'm Harrison Ford. I've got one vote, same as anyone else, and I'm going to use it to move forward. I'm going to vote for Kamala Harris.
And you lost. He lost, along with everyone else in old Hollywood. Thank you guys for checking this one out. Disney is about to have a rebirth. I'm super excited for it. I'm ready to start watching Star Wars and enjoy the films again. Please like, comment, subscribe, and click the notification bell. I got to hurry up and get to the edit so I can get this out by 7. See you until we break the next narrative together. Thank you.